around 15, that would cost you only $900. And the only thing that you lose is the 4K touch display in trade for a full HD non-touch display, and that trade is pretty damn good because you take away $300 of the price and you wouldn't really use the 4K display in gaming anyway. If you don't have that much time to watch this review, click the screen right now or go to the first link in the video description down below to just watch the pros and cons of this laptop. Alright, let's take a look at the laptop's design and connectivity. The laptop is mainly made out of plastic, but it's of rather high quality. It doesn't feel as good as the XPS laptop does, but for this price, the build quality is just fine. The laptop has a little bit of flex on the screen and just a little on the keyboard, but it's not anything bothersome. And the screen's hinges are stiff enough for a touch display, while at the same time being able to get open with one finger. The main theme here is black and red, so it definitely has the gamer vibe to it, but not too much. When it comes to gamer intended products, I generally don't like the quality or the actual design of the product itself, but in this case, the laptop actually looks really good and also feels good. And the keyboard is decent. It's actually the same keyboard as the Dell XPS 15 has, but of course, this laptop is intended mainly for gamers, and they are most likely going to be buying a separate keyboard instead. And the keyboard has a backlight, but it's not RGB, so you can't change the white color to something else. And the trackpad, it's pretty big, and palm reaction was really good, as you can see here. But you really have to buy a separate mouse, of course, if you're going to be playing any games on this laptop, so the trackpad doesn't really matter at all. But it's there, and it's fine. In terms of audio, you are probably also going to be buying a separate headset and not use the speakers, but I gotta say, the speaker system is pretty damn good actually. And the main speaker is above the keyboard, which is great, but it also has a subwoofer on the bottom of the laptop. So the audio gets very loud and sounds crystal clear. The speakers are great, even though you're probably not going to be using them. On the left hand side of the laptop, there's a charging port, exhaust, 2 super speed USB Type A ports, and a headphone jack. Apple. On the other side, there's a Kensington lock, an Ethernet port, HDMI, another super speed USB Type A port, and an SD card reader. So yeah, in terms of ports, there's everything you need. Alright, let's take a look at the gaming performance with the 960M. Now, obviously, you are not going to be playing games at 4K, you will be doing that at 1080p, which is why I recommend you to buy the 1080p version if you're not going to be using it for things like photo and video editing. This laptop can play almost any game at 1080p low and medium settings. In Rocket League at 1080p medium settings, I was sitting at an average FPS of 95, and in CSGO I had an average of 150, and games like League of Legends was of course also great. I actually bumped up the resolution to 4K in very high settings, and I got a very high average FPS of 101, which is great, especially at 4K resolution. In Overwatch at 1080p and medium settings, I got an average FPS of 95. So as you can hear, this PC is a great buy if you plan on playing games like CSGO, League of Legends, Overwatch, World of Warcraft, and those kinds of games. It can even handle some more intensive games like Battlefield 4, where I sat at around 65 FPS average at 1080p and medium settings. I wouldn't play games like The Witcher 3 on it though, because that would significantly reduce your gaming experience. The cooling is great. I never got the CPU or GPU to reach above comfortable temperatures, and as you can see here, when we open up the laptop, which is very easily done with just one screw by the way, there are 2 fans. One for the GPU and one for the CPU. The fans get their fresh air from the vents down below and push out the hot air to the sides and back of the laptop, where there are red cooling vents. Inside of the laptop, you have got the ability to upgrade a lot of things actually, such as the SSD here, the 2.5-inch mechanical hard drive, and the RAM. In terms of noise, doing smaller stuff like browsing the web and watching video is dead silent. And when you start playing games though, the fans spin up and get more audible. Now watching YouTube, Netflix, and that kind of stuff was stunning, thanks to the incredible 4K touch display. Having Skype calls worked perfectly fine too. The webcam is of decent quality and the mic is fine too. The Wi-Fi performance was pretty good, although I did have some hiccups a little bit now and then in games. Probably just this unit though, as I haven't seen any other reports of the problem. And lastly, battery life. Is it good? Well, that depends on your configuration. The 1080p version lasts for a decent amount of time, although the 4K touch one of course draws a bunch of more power, so it will last a little less. Oh, and also, the 4K touch display is glossy, which can be annoying for some people if you get the sun in your way. But the 1080p screen has anti-glare coating though. So in conclusion, the Dell Inspiron 15's 7559 is an all-around beast of a laptop for a great price. $900 gets you a top-of-the-line quad-core i7 chip, 16 gigs of RAM, and a 960M. And pair that with its great looks, cooling, and gaming performance, and you have got my top choice laptop for anyone looking at getting into gaming or just wants a portable powerhouse that can play most titles without breaking the bank. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you liked the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.